What's up, guys? It's Attack on Samurai, and here is another Pokemon Showdown Team Builder video for you guys. So, before we get started, make sure you guys leave a like and comment for more of this content. So that way I can continue putting up more content that I love, because I love doing this stuff for you guys. And also share the video with your friends and such. Let them know about me, and I will provide. So anyways, this team builder is going to be around a very powerful Mega that a lot of people knew from the X and Y days. Yes, Mega Mawile. So Mega Mawile and Mega Beedrill were released back were released like a couple weeks ago. They were released on the last week of February, I believe. It was after that competition, or it was before it. No, it was after. It was after the competition, but I don't remember if it was like if it was the first week, or if it was the Well, regardless, those two mons are out, so they are available for play. So they are in OU as of right now, which is pretty good. So, well, I guess comparing both of them, comparing both Mega Mawile and Mega Beedrill, the only benefit that they get, well, actually Mega Beedrill only gets a benefit from it in this gen, is the fact that it gets its speed boost right on the first turn. So instead of it being at its base speed as a Beedrill, where it's like base 75, I think, its speed is going to be the speed it is as a Mega, so it'll be base 150 on the first turn. So pretty crazy that they gave Mega Beedrill that option now, as well as all the other Megas with speed. I mean, with the boosted speed. So it's pretty interesting actually that they did that, and also pretty crazy too. They also boosted some other stuff as well for Mega Beedrill, but I'll probably talk about that when I do a team builder around that mon as well, because that's another Mega I love. Mega Beedrill is amazing, but right now we're going to talk about another mon that's amazing, and it's higher than Mega Beedrill. Yes, Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile is a very powerful Mega, one of the best Megas from X and Y in my opinion, and definitely one of the Megas, and definitely one of the Pokemon that really needed it, because Mawile before was just kind of there, really. It was a mon that not a lot of people paid attention to, just kind of like, it was just there really. It did some stuff and people were like, yay, but it didn't do anything. So anyways, Mega Mawile is a step above, actually a footstep, a huge footstep above, a giant footstep above what regular Mawile was. So Mega Mawile with huge power is really the best ability that they could have given Mega Mawile. A pretty broken ability as well. So a huge power on Mega Mawile. Its attack stat is at 339, but with huge power it gets doubled. So its attack stat is, I believe, 638 or somewhere around that. So that means that Mega Mawile is gonna hit incredibly hard. Hits almost like legendary status as well. So it can really just destroy a lot of things, even most legendaries too. That's why this mon, before in X and Y, it was sent to Ubers to be in there, as well as in Oras. So in Oras and in X and Y, it was in Ubers for a time. But in Sun and Moon, it is now available. It is now available to be used. So it'll probably be a matter of time before this mon will get banned. So I don't want to sound like that. Like, I don't want to discourage you guys and say, hey, go use Mega Mawile before it gets banned, but I'm kind of saying that. But we're going to talk about the team. So I've kind of been talking about Mawile's back history and stuff. But anyways, Mega Mawile is going to be the mon that I'm going to be focusing on in this team builder. So actually, let me talk about the rest of the mons as well. So we had Twinmold, the Mega Mawile, Azura, the Tapu Fini, the Hammer, the Landorus-Therian, Matrix, the Necrozma, Green Kool-Aid, the Scizor, and we have Hideous, the Hydreigon. So this team pretty much like balances out a little bit. It's more like a balanced team actually. After I've been playing with this team for quite a bit, I realized that it's more balanced. That's more of like a balanced kind of team. It's not really like hyper offense or anything. It's just balance, really. So I'm gonna start off with Mega Mawile and what its purpose is on this team. So Mega Mawile is very dangerous when you can set up with it. So when you set up with Mega Mawile, you pretty much just put everything, like literally you make your opponent like crap themselves whenever you set up. So especially on a mon that can't really touch Mega Mawile, like let's say, I don't know, Ferrothorn, or let's say or maybe I can't think of any other mon, like a bulky water type that can't really touch it. I guess like any like stuff like that. Basically Mega Mawile can set up on that. It can just put up a huge amount of damage on something and really forces things out. So its moveset is a Substitute, Swords Dance, Play Rough, and Iron Head. So with Substitute, what you want to do is that you want to set up on a mon that can't really touch Mega Mawile, or that Mega Mawile can force out on Mega Evolution. So maybe a normal type that can't really touch it, or a water type like I mentioned before, or something like Ferrothorn, even Tapu Bulu, stuff like that. You really want to set up on a mon like that can't really touch it. And plus with its ability before Mega Evolution with Intimidate, it can actually lower attack stats. So that can be really into your benefit in lowering other physical attackers, and then you can set up on them on a switch in. So it's pretty useful. And also with Sword Sense as well, you can set up with Sword Sense under a sub, and then you'll just be a really threatening mon that has a substitute as well as a +2 behind you. So yeah, and then Play Rough and Iron Head are just stab moves that help with Mega Mawile. So with Play Rough, you have a 90 base attack fairy move. You also have a 90% chance of hitting. So yeah, so pretty nice for hitting the dragon types and other stuff that may come in on Mega Mawile, as well as Iron Head, another stab move, has a chance of flinching and hits incredibly hard. So yeah, that's basically it. It's basically for Mega Mawile. With this one, you just want to set up whenever you get the chance, and then just start going crazy. And again, with Mega Mawile, you just automatically force out switch-ins. So once you set up, you can pretty much just go wild and just hit whatever comes in. But you also have to be pretty cautious with it as well. So next, we're gonna go on to Azura, the Tapu Fini. So Azura is so Azura, the Tapu Fini, is going to be specially defensive, max HP, max special defense with 4 in special attack. Basically Tapu Fini's purpose on this team is to take special hits, basically, and also to cut down other mons as well. Try and have that trying to like help with weakening other mons down with Scald and Nature's Madness, as well as getting rid of hazards with Defog. I'm also running a Z move on this Tapu Fini. I am running Z Refresh. So with Z Refresh, what you can do is you can actually heal. You can restore your health, and you can also restore your status as well. So it's a pretty nice Z move to have on it, since Tapu Fini doesn't get any reliable recovery outside of lefties. So you kind of have to deal with that. Go with that with the Z Refresh. Again, you could, if you want, you could go lefties, but I don't think it would really be that beneficial, to be honest, because like, again, I really like running Z Refresh on Tapu Fini, just because most people would assume that Tapu Fini would run lefties, so they would just knock off whatever. They would just knock it off. But with Z refresh, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about getting knocked off. You can just go for your Z move, get fully healed, and also get rid of the status that you may have if you're not in Misty Surge. So it's a pretty good Z move to have on Tapu Fini. And with this set, it can take hits very well. It takes special hits really well. It can take hits decently well from Magnezone. Take hits from actually I just remember I had this one game where I was actually fighting a Z move Heatran that had the Z grass move. I think it was Z Bloom Doom. Tapu Fini actually lived on 1, so it can live. I think it could have been a roll, actually. It might have been a roll for Tapu Fini to live that Z Bloom Doom, but still, it's pretty amazing how incredibly tanky this mon is. Like, look at his stats though. Base 117 in defense and base 130 in special defense, and his special attack is not bad. So Tapu Fini can be ran offensively. But again, with this team, you want to run it as a special wall to be able to take those hits, because again, Twinmold can't really, Mega Mawile can't really like take special hits because its special defense is pretty terrible compared to the rest of its stats. Well, no, its special defense is decent, but it's not the best. If I could say so. Yeah. So again, with this moveset, refresh, with regular refresh, you can just, heal up your status, get rid of the toxic or anything that you may be in outside of Misty Surge. If you're out of it for too long. The Nature's Madness, like I said before, cut down your opponent's HP by half, which is really good for breaking down bulky mons that, let's say, Mega Mawile can't really deal with. So it really helps with that in breaking down those bulky walls like Heatran, for example, or Garchomp. It really helps on mons that come in on the switch in too. So there's that. And then Scald for hitting mons and also getting burns on mons that levitate over the Misty Surge. So stuff like Landorus, Salamence, Dragonite, those mons, they can get burned outside of Misty Surge. Mons that actually are on the field on a misty terrain won't be affected by burn. So it's a double-edged kind of sword with Scald. With Scald on Tapu Fini. That's why most people don't really run it. In the beginning when this mon came out, most people didn't really run Scald. They would run most people didn't even know about it, so most people would have ran like Surf or Hydro Pump. And then Defog, like I said before, is to get rid of hazards, which by the way the team looks, hazards aren't really like a big deal, but if too much gets set up, then it could be a big deal. So that's why I wanted to have hazards. That's why I wanted to have Defog to get rid of like spikes or toxic spikes that may come up. So that's pretty much it for Tapu Fini. For Azura the Tapu Fini. Now we're gonna move on to the Hammer, the Landorus T. So as you can see, its EV spread is pretty weird, very weird actually. So it has 130 in HP, 4 in attack, 252 in defense, 22 in special defense, and 100 in speed. So with this, basically this Landorus is a tank, a physical tank, to take those hits pretty well. So its moveset is a Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Toxic, and U-Turn, pretty standard. Also rocking the lefties for getting residual health back and such. So Landorus is a very known ground type, and pretty much Landorus T fits on almost every team, which is insane. So Landorus T is my hazard setter. It's also my physical wall. It also brings a strong momentum. It's a strong momentum user because with U-Turn and also with Earthquake, it just can do so much damage, and just and also allows me to switch out and bring in something else on the switch in. And then Toxic is there to wear down bulky mons like bulky water types and such. Deal with Garchomp, defensive Garchomp as well. So It's also an Intimidator, so running dual Intimidate with Mawile and Landers is pretty useful, and can really help with gaining momentum, and breaking things down and such. So yeah, that's basically it. It's just my defensive pivot with hazards and for stalling things out, and again just getting momentum up with the rest of my team. So it's a momentum builder, I guess. So that's gonna be it for the hammer. Now we're gonna move on to my favorite mon on this team, because I really do like Necrozma on this team. Matrix of Necrozma is very good at its job. So Necrozma on this team is the wall breaker that just opens up so much for my team. So Necrozma is rocking the Mind Plate. It is also modest, max HP and max special defense with 4 in special defense. I'm actually thinking about changing the 4 in special defense for 4 in defense, but I think for now I'm going to keep the 4 in special defense and again see what else it can do and such. But Necrozma's purpose on this team is to break walls and also to paralyze other mons. Bring in that to have that what's it called? It's another like momentum kind of mon. Like lower speed down. To have speed control and allow my other mons to take advantage of that and to set up or whatever, like with the Twinmold, or to get hazards up. Can really like whittle the opponent down by paralyzing them. So its moveset is Morning Sun, Thunder Wave, Earthquake, and Psyshock. Morning Sun is pretty much its best form of recovery. There's also Moonlight as well. If you want to go that way, you can go Moonlight. But Morning Sun helps is again, like I said, its other form of recovery. Pretty much gets it about, I think, 50% or higher. I think it's about 50%. Let me actually check real quick. I'm pretty sure it's 50%. I think it is 50%. When I used it last time. So it heals you up about 50%. And then Thunder Wave, there again, speed control. Then Earthquake and Psyshock. So Earthquake is pretty weird on this team. It's pretty weird to have on Necrozma because, well, one, I'm running modest, so you wouldn't expect to run something like a physical move on it. But its attack set of being 107 is actually pretty good. It's a weird attack set, but again, it's actually very good with it. So with Earthquake, it allows Necrozma to deal with mons it doesn't normally deal with. It can deal with the poison types or steel types that could threaten a Twinmold on the team. It can also deal with stuff like Heatran and not Mega Mawile. Well, I guess yeah, it can deal with other Mega Mawiles too, as well as like I said, Heatran, Alolan Muck, because Alolan Muck is pretty much the best counter to Necrozma, but with Earthquake it's a check to it, so it can check that and pretty much take it out too. I think it takes out at about half or a little bit less than that, but it's around the half range that an Earthquake would do a lot more damage to it. I mean, that Earthquake would take it out, so it's a very good coverage move for Necrozma. And I also have Psyshock to break down special walls on the team, which does help with Hideous being able to come in and put in the work it needs to. So Necrozma is the wall breaker on my team, and it is a very good wall breaker. So yeah, that is pretty much it for Matrix and Necrozma. Now we're going to move on to Green Kool-Aid, the Scizor. I call it a green Kool-Aid because, you know, it's shiny and stuff. So anyways, we have Green Kool-Aid, the Scizor, rocking the Choice Band, running Knockoff, a Superpower, Bullet Punch, and U-Turn. And it is also a Jolly Nature, which is pretty different, I guess. Most Scizors are usually ran with Adamant, maybe even Brave Nature, I've heard, or I believe. I guess maybe to take advantage of Trick Room, if you do want to run it that way. So with Scizor, it's fairly fast, being jolly and being at that speed set and being with that speed. So with this speed, it can actually outspeed a Choice Specs Magnezone. I think it can outspeed defensive Garchomp. I think it can. I don't know exactly if it can, but I believe it can. Outspeeds Venusaur, Mega Venusaur, stuff like that. Basically some stuff that are like base 80. No, not base 80. Well, actually it can outspeed base 80s. If they aren't invested. So it can outspeed like most mons that aren't invested that are like base 80 or around that range. So that's why it's there. So it's a very hard hitter with Choice Band. Can really just whittle things down. With Knockoff, it can get rid of items, and since a Knockoff does more damage when it's boosted on a mon that has an item, it's going to do a lot of damage with that Choice Band. Superpower, coverage, deals with the steel types that may come in on the switch in, deals with Ferrothorn, deals with the, again, like bulky dark types like Umbreon or whatever that may be a threat, deals with Greninja, stuff like that. Coverage for those types of mons. Then we have Bullet Punch, it's stab, and also priority, which is pretty useful to have on Scizor. And also since it's Technician boosted, its Bullet Punch is gonna be boosted, so it's gonna do a lot more damage. Plus it's Choice Banded as well. So Scizor is definitely really good with that BP. And then we have a U-turn, a pivot move, and also there for gaining momentum, and it does a lot of damage as well since it is Choice Banded. So yeah, it's also a revenge killer too. So so basically it just allows me to come in, be a pivot, take care of other mons, switch out, and I can bring in something else to take its place. And again, like I said, it's a revenge killer, so it is very good at its job of doing that. So yeah, that's basically it for Green Kool-Aid the Scizor. Now we're gonna move on to the last mon on the team, which is going to be Hideous the Hydreigon. So that's a pretty sad name for a Hydreigon, but anyways, we have Hideous the Hydreigon rocking the Choice Scarf, running U-turn, Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, and Fire Blast. So I ran Choice Scarf with Hydreigon because I wanted to have a mon that was fast. I didn't have any mons on my team that were fast, so I wanted to have this mon to be able to take advantage of that and be Choice Scarf and such, and to allow me to be faster than other mons. I can outspeed a Choice Scarf Tapu Lele. Most Choice Scarf mons are like base 1. Well, actually no, not Choice Scarf, but most monsters are like base 100 or above that Hydreigon can outspeed. I believe it can outspeed Pheromosa. I think it can. I'm not quite certain if it can, but I believe it can. It can outspeed other Choice Scarf users that are slower than it. Like Magnezone, Guitar, stuff like that. It can deal with those mons. So its moveset is a U-turn, Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, and Fire Blast. With U-turn, just like with Green Kool-Aid and the Hammer, it allows switch-ins and also pivoting. So it's pretty useful at that. So again, this team is weird though, having 3 mons with U-turn. Pretty, I guess, weird to say. Then we have Draco Meteor, a pretty reliable move when it hits. Base 130, 90 accuracy. So there's a 10% chance that you will land. So yeah. So with Draco, it does a lot of damage to mons on a switch in if you're not a fairy type or a steel type. It does a lot of damage to that. Dark Pulse, stab move as well with Draco, is base 80 and also has a chance of flinching other mons, and it does a lot of damage to mons that aren't special defensive and such. And again, like I mentioned before, it does have a chance of flinching other mons, and it is coverage as well for the rest of my team, since again Matrix is weak to Ghost, since it is a psychic type. So Dark Pulse is there to deal with those mons, to deal with the Ghost types and such. deal with psychic types as well. Even though my team isn't really weak to psychic at all, I have an immunity and I have 3 resistances actually, so it doesn't really matter too much. But it can deal with psychic types like that, like Alakazam for example. I don't think it can actually outspeed Alakazam. I think it can outspeed a modest Mega Alakazam, but it can't outspeed a timid one, I believe. And then lastly we have Fire Blast. That's to cover the steel types that may come in, like Ferrothorn, Celesteela, Skarmory, Magnezone, stuff like that. Deals with those mons. And he covers those mons if they don't have a Flash Fire user on them, or with them. So pretty nice coverage. It is also a momentum bringer as well, just like the Kool-Aid and the Hammer. So that is basically it for the team. Again, like I said, pretty well balanced. Again, I have a lot of immunities now. I have pretty nice immunities. Immunity to, again, ground with Intimidate, with Levitate, and also with Lando being a flying type, so I don't have to worry about being hit with that and such. And Matrix is a pretty strong mon too, having the Prism armor, so I don't have to worry about taking super effective damage with Matrix and such. Yeah, and also with Azura's Misty Terrain, I don't have to worry about any of my mons getting burned, paralyzed, or toxic while they're under it, besides the Hammer and Hideous, since they both do levitate over it, so I have to play around that pretty carefully. But besides that, I don't have to worry about Twinmold getting burned or getting paralyzed. I don't have to worry about Green Kool-Aid getting burned. I can basically just stay in on a mon that can scald me under the Misty Terrain, and Green Kool-Aid can just go in and just do the damage he needs to. Unless it's an offensive mon with Scald, then that could be a problem. But regardless, that is pretty much going to be it for this team builder. I am going to be doing live battles with this team as well. So there will be live showdown battles, which is something I haven't done in a long time. It's been a while since I've done that. I haven't done that since like the beginning of ORAS actually. So can't wait to actually get back into doing this. It's going to be pretty fun. Probably right after I'm done with this recording, I may do a showdown live. So it'll probably come up right after this one. So yeah, again, I've been rambling on with this team, so I'm gonna stop talking now. So anyways, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the team builder. Leave any suggestions if you think there's something I can add on to the team, or if you want to see me use a mon. Yeah, if you want to see me use any mons that you think would be, suitable and such, for you or whatever. But that is basically gonna be it. So like I said, I'm gonna say a second time, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video to your friends, and yeah, I promise you, I will provide you more content and such, and I will see you then. Take care, and I hope you all have a good one.